Even at my lowest, I'm still excited to use the time the best I can. There's motivation to make every second count. You never got lonely?
Not since I met you.
Isn't it scary losing that?
Hello everyone, today we talk romance and horror as I reveal my movie recommendation for a lovely Halloween. Now, what does this movie have to do with Halloween? Absolutely nothing. It's just an excuse for me to talk about one of my favorite movies, Spring. Released in 2014 and directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. They were also the directors of The Endless, another one of my favorite movies that I'll eventually talk about, but for today we talk about Spring. The story follows a young man named Evan, played by Taylor Pucci, who is going through a difficult period in his life. After his mom dies of a terminal illness, Evan has nothing else keeping him in his hometown, so he decides to travel to Italy to get away from it all. He's really troubled and conflicted as he put his life on hold to take care of his mother, so he has a lot of anger for missing out on life and a lot of shame for having these feelings. He eventually arrives at a small coastal town where he encounters a mysterious and beautiful woman named Louise, played by Nadia Hilker. At first, Louise shows a passing interest in Evan, which he reciprocates, but he feels there is something unusual about her. There's times where Louise vanishes or gives him a cold shoulder that leaves Evan confused, and yet he is curious and wants to find out more about her.
I'm Evan.
Louise, did you just touch my boob?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Wow.
All right, one last time and I'll let you go. Will you go out with me?
I don't know.
The entire movie develops their relationship with a hint of supernatural and science fiction about it, and that's as far as I'll go into explaining the actual plot, because I think you'll be better served in discovering it on your own. The movie plays the balance of romance and horror so well that I think it's the perfect movie for anyone that is fond of either genre. You might already be thinking that this will be your typical "he's a human, she's not, how could they ever be together" kind of thing. But put that aside, this movie is trying to tell you something different. It goes deeper into the exploration of identity, of who we are when no one else is looking, and how far the people that are around you will go to keep you around, even after knowing what you truly are. Evan is constantly tested by Louise. They have been together for a very short time, but he feels deeply for her, and while she tests him on his love for her, she's also challenging him to figure out who he really is in the process. He is massively confused about his place in the world and doesn't know who he wants to be. The feelings of loss towards his family only make him more isolated and lonely. Feelings that Louise shares as well, for entirely different reasons that you'll eventually discover. And when you do discover those reasons, the movie kind of flips to the feelings of loneliness and the exploration of identity, but from Louise's perspective. It's very hard for me to say if the payoff at the end of the movie will actually land for you without talking spoilers. It's one of those movies where the journey in the end will play a big role in whether you'll be satisfied with it, but I think the journey is beautiful no matter what. What really keeps me engaged on this movie is that Evan and Louise just feel like normal young people, from the way they talk, the way they flirt with each other. I don't know about you guys, but every romance I've ever seen, it seems like the dialogues never actually feel real. It all feels scripted, like people don't actually talk that way, you know? No matter how good the actors are, they can't make something feel real if the words just feel fabricated to be clever, rather than speak true to the actual character. With Spring, you just get a really free-flowing conversation between Evan and Louise, and it's obvious that part of this is because of the great directing, but also the amazing chemistry that they both have. There aren't any awkward moments to cringe at, just real people developing a romance. These imperfect characters feel so genuine that you can't help but love them. The locations of the movie are just breathtaking Italy, so it definitely boasts the romance theme, but also helps to keep the mysticism of the show alive through the representation of the culture and location. The directors knew how to pick their battles in regards to where they should apply the budget, so these beautiful shots never come at the cost of the quality of the rest of the movie. A lot of directors love to blow their budget on a couple of shots to make the movie impressive, But I think Spring really has that even playing field across the whole movie. It looks gorgeous and really shows how much you can do with more creativity than money. I truly believe this when I say it. It's one of the most original horror movies that you can see, and one of the most original romantic movies that you can see. And the balancing act that the directors had to go through to make it work on both ends, it's nothing short of genius.
Are you scared of me?
Yeah. But explain it to me.
Sorry. Evan!
Now, I'll have to talk about the weird part of this movie, because it is a bit of a Trojan horse that you can play on anyone that doesn't know it. It's actually a body horror movie. You'll see some gross, perhaps a lot of gross, depending on your constitution, but that's the great thing about this movie. It doesn't start that way. So hear me out. This is your mission. You can trick someone into watching it with you, and before you know it, they'll leave you alone forever because you are a disgusting psycho. Or they'll love it and you'll now have an unbreakable bond because you share a sick infatuation with what you've seen. Either way, you'll relate to Evan and Louise. You're very welcome. That's all for this video, guys. I hope you'll give Spring a chance. It's a really great movie and I promise it will feel very exciting to see. Even if you're not a fan of romance, this one you'll love. Please subscribe to the channel, that will help me grow as a creator, and be sure to leave a comment after you watch the movie. I'll be so happy to hear from you. Have a wonderful day and bye bye.